Satan, the adversary of God, has been trying to manipulate and deceive humanity since the beginning of time. As a Christian, it is essential to understand why Satan attempts to manipulate believers and what we can do to withstand his schemes. The Bible warns us that Satan is a cunning and clever enemy who seeks to destroy our faith and relationship with God. One of the primary reasons Satan tries to manipulate Christians is to lead them away from God's truth and into sin. He knows that if he can deceive us into believing lies and half-truths, we will be more likely to disobey God's commands and live according to our own desires. Satan's ultimate goal is to destroy our faith and turn us against God, and he will stop at nothing to achieve this objective. He uses various tactics, such as temptation, deception, and accusation, to manipulate believers and lead them astray. Satan often manipulates Christians by playing on their emotions, using fear, anxiety, and doubt to his advantage. He may whisper lies into our ears, telling us that we are not good enough, that God does not love us, or that we will never be able to overcome our struggles. He may also use circumstances and events to make us doubt God's goodness and sovereignty. For example, if we are facing a difficult trial or experiencing a season of suffering, Satan may try to convince us that God has abandoned us or that he is not powerful enough to help us. Another way Satan manipulates Christians is by appealing to their fleshly desires. He knows that we are all prone to sin and that our fleshly nature often desires things that are contrary to God's will. He may tempt us with worldly pleasures such as wealth, power, or prestige, or he may use our own desires and passions against us, leading us to compromise our values and principles. For instance, he may whisper to us that it is okay to compromise on our values or morals just this once, or that it is acceptable to prioritize our own interests above God's will. So, what can we do to withstand Satan's manipulation and deception? First and foremost, we need to know the truth of God's word and stand firm on his teachings. The Bible is our sword and shield against Satan's attacks, and it is essential that we study it, memorize it, and apply its principles to our lives. We must also be aware of Satan's tactics and recognize when he is trying to manipulate us. This requires discernment, wisdom, and a deep understanding of God's nature and character. In addition to knowing the truth, we need to cultivate a deep and intimate relationship with God. This means spending time with him in prayer, worship, and fellowship, and seeking to know his will and purposes for our lives. When we are close to God, we are more sensitive to his voice and more resistant to Satan's lies and deceptions. We must also surround ourselves with other believers who can encourage, support, and hold us accountable, helping us to stay on track and resist Satan's manipulation. Finally, we need to put on the armor of God as described in Ephesians 6:10-18. This includes the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, and the sword of the Spirit. Each piece of armor is essential for withstanding Satan's attacks and manipulating tactics, and we must put them on every day, asking God to empower and equip us for the spiritual battles we face. By doing so, we can resist Satan's manipulation and live a life that is pleasing to God, trusting in his power and sovereignty to overcome every challenge and overcome every enemy.